And as I was saying to you a few minutes ago, so many pictures from the 80s have those awful synthesizer scores that really date the films. And you using Jerry Goldsmith in a full orchestra, I think, really adds to the quality and the long-lastingness.
Well, it does, and unfortunately, Jerry, unfortunately for me, unfortunately for him, but unfortunately for me, Jerry, we pulled out a lot of money to do these things, and sometimes we couldn't afford them. And so I would have loved to have Jerry do everything that I ever do. But for a lot of pictures, I would just go to Jerry and say, I recommend this guy. And he would send me to somebody else.
You told me once an amusing story about how when you're getting ready to do Looney Tunes Back in Action, you had to sit him down and play a bunch of Carl Stalling to get...
No, actually, that wasn't. That was on the Twilight Zone movie, because I did a segment on the Twilight Zone movie which involved animated cartoons, and it was the first time that I had ever worked with Jerry. And we had tracked a whole lot of stuff with Carl Stalling music from the library. But there were some parts where it had to be in stereo, so we had to do it over. And so Jerry went back to the original cues for Rabbit Rampage, 1955, and he got his orchestra together, and they tried to play Carl Stalling music from the 50s, and they couldn't do it because it's so fast that they would get lost. Because when Stalling did it, he would have a fairly small group of people who were used to doing this kind of thing over and over, and so he could crank it up pretty quick. But these people who were, used to doing big studio pictures could not fathom how fast this music went. And so it took a lot of time, and and that's sort of where Jerry and I really formed our bond, because it was kind of a crazy episode, and so he used a lot of strange orchestration instruments, which I got to play, like flugelhorns and stuff like that. And it was really a tremendous amount of fun, and eventually he did get them to play fast enough, but it took a while.
I think we have time for one or two more. This gentleman here.
In the trailer for the Burbs, it shows the original one. It shows a scene where Ray's trying to fix the grill and it catches on fire. Are those ever going to come out, or what happened in the scene?
Wow, I didn't know that was in the trailer. Well, when you make movies, some things just don't make it into the picture, And now in the age of DVD, you can actually say, oh, well, let's put it in as an extra, and people can, see where we're supposed to go and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so many great movies where we don't have all that footage because, nobody bothered to save it. I don't remember that as being a particularly, exciting scene. But we did reshoot the scene where they go to Walter's house and break in, because, as I recall, the studio we had a scene where they didn't get into the house, and so they said, well, it would be funny if Tom opened a closet and a lot of things fell out on him. And I said, okay. So I told Tom, and Tom didn't think that it would be all that funny to open a closet and have a bunch of things fall out on him. But there were some other things that we thought would be good, and so we said, okay, we'll do the reshoot. And so we did the reshoot, and it actually was much better than what we had. But when it came time to open the closet and all the things to fall out on him, Tom just did it so badly that we couldn't use it, and as he well knew, because he never wanted to do it in the first place. But he was nice enough to say that he would do it so that we'd get the money to shoot the extra stuff we wanted.
And also, we should give you a shout-out for putting Gale Gordon in the picture.
Gale Gordon, lovely man, very near the end of his career, and if you look hard in the movie, when they go into his house, on the TV there's a picture of him with Lucy on the top of the TV.
On the aisle here?
Yeah, you said you shot the sequence so you could build on the improv. What was the improv that you were able to build on?
Well, they're really mainly dialogue improvs. I mean, a lot of stuff between Carrie and Tom was improvised. I mean, most of their relationship, frankly, is improvised because Carrie is extremely bright, and Tom was right there with her, and they would just wail, and they would just do stuff, and they do it in rehearsal, and it's a great time to do that, But then we shoot it, and they do something different. But it was always on point. It was always going toward the part where you needed to go, as opposed to just ad-libbing for the sake of ad-libbing. So I mean, not to take anything away from the script, which was pretty good. There's a lot of stuff in the movie where people just said funny things, and we left them in.
Do you think there'll ever be a special edition of the Burbs?
You're lucky there's any edition of it. That's what they told me when they put out Explorers, which is a movie that I made that was really sort of messed up by the studio. And some guy came to me and said, you know what, we could go to the studio and we could get them to like put it back together again. And so we approached them and they said literally to me, like, are you kidding? You're lucky it's out on DVD at all.
And I guess we should also point out that Mant is not on either of the...
No, tragically, Mant was included on the Laserdisc version of Matinee, and then Matinee was one of the first DVDs to be put out, but it was put out with bare bones, with nothing. And in the new version, I was hoping that they would put Mant back on there, and they claimed there was a music rights issue, so they didn't do it. However, as luck would have it, you could see Mant in its entirety on YouTube. Because of course we shot a lot more of it than you could hear in the movie. And if you just go to YouTube and dial up Mant, there's 3 different sections, and it's about 20 minutes long. And it's got all the stuff we shot for Mant, and some of it is pretty funny. A lot of it's dialogue repurposed from Burt Gordon movie.
And Dick Miller is in Mant as well as the Tip
And it's playing her, the guy who's from the Brain Eaters or whatever. The Brain Leeches.
I think we have time for one more.
Nah, film the movie.
All right, here we go. A great volunteer.
What about the political subtext of this movie? The song in French, kind of a hero.
Do you hear that, folks?
Well, we think you're a hero everywhere.
French, you're kind of a hero.
You and Jerry Lewis.
That's for sure. Well, you know, a political subtext is, a lot of people make movies about politics. I like to make movies with politics in them, without necessarily having them on the surface, and because that's the way I always read movies. All movies are political, whether they're intended to be or not. But if you look at the stuff I've done, I think you can tell where I am politically, which side I'm on, and what I feel about it. And every so often I do something really blatant, like Homecoming, which is like, you know, being hit over the head with a hammer. But in that case it was warranted, I thought. But for the most part, it is subtext, and I think that's the way it should be. And yeah, I mean, you always have it in the back of your head. But if you're a thinking person and you want to express yourself on a film or music or anything, the politics is always there. It's ingrained. It's part of you. Politics is another word for life. I mean, I never would have thought that when I was a kid, trying to avoid, you know, politicians on television, which I still do. But if you have something to say, you just say it. If you have a venue to do it, then don't do it. So you don't believe suburban Americans are strange people? Oh, you think it's because it's so in your face? Well, you know, I just need big scenes, you know, like, you gotta have something for him to do, and Tom is very good in that scene. And you know, at the time we shot that scene, I'm not sure we knew how the movie was going to end.
But I think the audience, as well as Tom, needed that release, you know, just building up through the whole picture. Well, on that inspirational note, we've got a Matinee show. Please stick around. Joe Dante, everybody.
Don't forget to visit the country from hell.
FavoriteFromHell.com.